Welcome to Playa del Carmen, Mexico. Purpose of this video is to head out for a walk on the beach and check out the beach conditions. I'm just going to say it was not a very good week when it comes to beach conditions in Playa del Carmen. There was a lot more beach erosion and a definite uptick in seaweed this week. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to Playa del Carmen, Mexico. Just for context, we have a map here and I'll circle this section right here. This is at the end of Avenue Constituente. This is my stomping ground. This is where I usually do my videos, out in front of the Hilton and the Grand Hyatt, right beside the Wyndham Ultra. Let's go for a walk. Good morning from beautiful Playa del Carmen, Mexico. We are at the end of Avenue Constituente. We are heading out onto the pier. This is week 15, almost 4 months of me doing these videos, checking out the beach conditions. We can see the palapa on the left. Doesn't seem like there's any workers there. They are obviously out on the beach. I can smell the beach, which is not a good sign, but typical for March. I'm going to give you some pictures. There's nobody there. They're out on the beach cleaning up. I remember the day they put that palapa up. They did it so quickly, and that was last year this time. Anyways, there's the kiosk for the Ultramar ferry that goes over to Cozumel. You can see Cozumel off in the distance. This beach right here, which has totally shrunk, is in front of the Wyndham Ultra. I believe it's a 5-star adults only. And that beach is half of what it was last year. 2 years ago, it was a big beach. A lot of people kind of hanging out on it, but now it doesn't really even exist. We're gonna head over here, and we've got a bit of a big mound, but I'm gonna give you some pictures of the last couple years of this beach and how it deteriorates. Look at that sand. There it is 1 year ago. That's what it looked like. Look at the seaweed. Now, they had not gotten to the seaweed, but that beach is easily twice as big, if not 3 times as big. That is 2 years ago. Look at the seaweed. This is what's coming. That's why I'm showing you these pictures. This is what's coming. They can't manage that amount of seaweed. Look at it. They can't manage it. Right now, they are just on the verge of managing it. The seaweed has had a major uptick. And we're going to go back. That's what the beach looks like right now. I've shown you the last 2 years and what it looks like. We've had people out here for the last 2 hours picking up the seaweed. But that mound of seaweed right there stinks. I don't know why they're leaving it out here longer than 48 hours. After 48 hours, it becomes toxic. It smells like rotten eggs. I don't know. I almost can't come down to the beach here really, and there's nobody really down here. It stinks. So we're at the point. It's not like I haven't predicted this. That the seaweed usually starts in February. The water here looks okay, but that you can tell by the dark color of it that it is fermented. It's been here longer than 24 hours. After 48 hours, it stinks. And I believe that they are just putting sand over top of it. That's why this whole beach just stinks now. Now, depending on where the wind's coming from, whether it's coming off the water or off the land, it's gonna kind of change the stink of it, but it doesn't look like there's a lot. See that green seaweed there? That's brand new. That stuff doesn't stink. But when it gets darker, that's when the stink really starts, and you get a headache. You can get sick from it. Don't let the kids play in it. You got 1,000 gnats in and amongst it, so it's horrible. But when it's green like it is right here on the beach, that's new. It's just come up, and that's not really that bad. The only problem with this green seaweed and the new sargassum here is what it's called, is sometimes you get little things that sting you in it. Like if you're going into the water, and sometimes there's nutrients in this sargassum or seaweed when it's out there, and you get some of these little kind of stingrays in there, and they live in it. And sometimes when people kind of brush up against it, they get stung. Now there's been a lot of these Portuguese man-of-wars in the last couple of years around here, and they do some major damage. What's my point? You probably don't want to be hanging around a lot of the seaweed when it's in the water. Now we can see certain tracks here. They've been cleaning this stuff up, this seaweed up for the last couple hours. This is not a true indication of how much seaweed is coming in here. We're going to come up here. We got another 50 meters to walk. This is the true indication of how much seaweed is coming in. They are on the verge of not being able to manage it. I have shown you 2 pictures or 3 pictures of a year ago and 2 years ago. It gets to the point where they can't manage it. Now they've been much better this year. It's been a really cold December. It was really rainy. As a result, the water didn't heat up as quickly and it wasn't as bad. They've got sea whales out there. That's those little things that prevent it from coming in. They've got boats out there. They've also got these barriers. Now we're coming in, I'm showing you here what it would normally look like it did 2 years ago if they weren't cleaning it up. And what's out there. But this is all in the water. You don't want to be in the water here. This is what it looks like when it hasn't been cleaned up. A lot of these chairs here off to the left, they're not getting up here until 11, maybe 1 in the afternoon. They're partying and they don't even know that there is a seaweed situation. But it's going to get to a point, probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks, where it's going to be unmanageable, where they're going to come out and it's just going to be there. And they're going to go, where'd this come from? Well, it's out there every morning. It's been out there since February 1st. It's just that they're trying to clean it up. You see this gazebo here with the kind of dark tile, like there's only 5-10 feet of the beach left now. There was 10 times that 2 years ago. Now look at this. Look at all this seaweed here. Now this is why it just stinks. They keep putting it on the beach here. And they have to get the tractors in here, but it's almost getting to the point where you can see there's not much beach left. They can't really get the tractors in here. They're going to be in the water. So this is what it looks like. This is why you don't want to come down here probably after March 1st. And I've been saying it for the last 3 years. I've been covering this every day for the last 3 years. You want to be down here probably between November and March 15th-ish, about now. If it's worse next week, I'm getting on a plane and I'm going home. And if you've followed anything about this seaweed in the last 2 or 3 weeks, about Tulum and around Cancun, around Playa, Acamel, Puerto Morales, all these places, it's getting progressively worse. There's been a real uptick, and some days are brutal, and some days you don't get much. So we're still at that phase in the game here where you roll the dice. You just don't know what you're going to get every day. But I'm going to say in the last week, it's been up and down the coast. I've scoured up and down the coast here. An hour north, an hour south, where millions of people are here. This is the end of March break, where it is getting really bad now. You don't want to swim in there. You can't really swim in there. You're going to have to go down the beach and get a little spot where there isn't any seaweed. They can't really go out and clean that up. You got to wait till it comes into shore. So at this point, I'm going to give it 1 more week, and then I'm probably going to say, hey, 4 months down here, it's been an awesome go. It's been better than the last 2 years. I gave you pictures of the last 2 years. It was definitely worse, but why did I show you those pictures? It's the sign of things to come. That is what's coming, and that's why the thumbnail says bad signs, because that's what's coming. And that stinks out. I don't know why they're not taking this off the beach, and sometimes they're just putting sand over it. It's not going to get rid of the stink. Beaches smell, and if you're staying at the Grand Hyatt there or the Hilton, the Hilton has been major beach erosion, and it stinks right there. Grand Hyatt, imagine we got a real nice beachfront room. Well, this is what you're looking out to, and the stink. You almost don't even want to open your sliding door on your balcony in order to see it or smell it. The smell, whatever, is worse. That's why I'm happy to be, if you wanted to be back on 5th, 10th, or 15th and get a condo, you don't really smell it as much back there. So, what am I saying? My conclusions are beach erosion, it's still happening. The seaweed is here now. It is brutal some days and it's not as bad some days, but what's gonna happen, it's gonna get consistently worse. That's why I showed you the pictures of the past years. That's what it becomes. So when you're asking me in the comments section what's gonna be like in April, it's just gonna get progressively worse. And you can see those big tractor marks there. That's what's going on. Tractors are coming in here and trying to pick up all this stuff every day. They're just gonna try and manage it as long as they can until they can't. And we're getting to that point. I'm gonna say thanks for coming along on the walk. Beaches are getting worse, erosion and major seaweed. See you next Saturday. Bye-bye.